This is the Cubs Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Chicago Cubs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Locked On Cubs Postcast. We're all frustrated, but another bad game. I can't talk. It's so bad. Another awful game for the Cubs. The lineup produced, but the bullpen was terrible. Cade Horton leaves the game early with lower back tightness. We'll talk about it all in the show. You guys are welcome in here on YouTube in the comments as well. You can hit me up off the air at Joe George Radio. This is a really bad time for the Cubs to be hitting some first on the season or in a season and a half. At this point, first time all year they've lost 4 straight games. Today they lose their 5th straight game. The first time they've done that since May of 2022. Also the first time this season the Chicago Cubs have lost a game in which they had a 5-run lead. Bad time for those things to be happening. The bullpen was atrocious. Like there's no other way to cut it. Cade Horton leaves early, but the guys that you're relying on to come in critical situations in the playoffs at this point, we're all bad tonight. We'll start with Taylor Rogers. Has runners on, gives up a 3-run home run that ties the game. Yes, Dansby Swanson has an error in this inning, and all 5 runs in that inning are unearned. But you're winning the game 6-1. And Rogers has to get 1 out, and he cannot do it. Drew Pomeranz has to come in. He gives up a run in the following inning. Another guy that with men on, you are supposed to be able to trust in the playoffs. Rogers, I don't think anyone really trusts him, but you acquired him at the deadline for this purpose of coming into a game and getting 1 out. Pomeranz has been pretty good this year, but gives up the 7th run of the game. And then again, in the back end of the game, another 2-run, inning. It's 9-7 from guys that you're relying on. The bullpen was just atrocious in this game. It's probably not even the biggest story. The biggest story of the game is Cade Horton, but we'll get to it. I'm kind of hoping we'll hear from Craig Counsell a little bit to get a little more information on what it was. But man, it's discouraging. I put in the thumbnail title, if you didn't see it, is "Wake Up, Please." I asked nicely. I'm asking nicely. The Cubs have lost 5 straight games. It was kind of funny, like ho hum. They got 1 hit the day after the celebration. Like whatever, like it's fine. But then you get smoked in the next 3 games. You get embarrassed by the Reds. In this game, you've got the opportunity to help ruin the Mets season, to work on your magic number because it's not moving. The Padres put up a 6 spot against the Brewers in the first inning. It's been stuck at 4 to lock up the first seed, the highest wild card seed, for like a week and a half now. At this point, it feels like. And the Cubs are just not playing good baseball. This is the worst time of the year to be playing the quality of baseball that this team is doing. And it's not just because Kyle Tucker's not there, and they gave a kind of a ho-hum update today, like maybe he'll be back, but it could be this series or it could be next series and get a couple at bats, but maybe it's a DH. He touched a base today, which apparently is a big deal in this process. But again, the lineup wasn't the problem in this one. It's just the bullpen. The guys that you need to go out there are just not getting the job done in the way they do. I mean, to have Thielbar come in a tie game, someone that's been ultra reliable this season, and to have him give up 2 runs to the Mets there, it's not what you need from the Cubs right now. It's hard to watch. Like I don't blame, like Anthony says here in the chat, this team, oh my God, I can't even watch anymore. I don't blame you. Like it's discouraging what's happening. To go out here and watch the Cubs lose 5 straight games in which you could have secured the top wild card spot. The Cubs are in real danger at this point of having to go to San Diego. And that's not good. And not the fact that it really changes in my perspective, like their odds of winning a series. I don't think it really matters if a 3-game series is played in San Diego or it's played in Chicago. I think it's more about what it means of how you got there, is that it was only 4 games and you had a week and a half to clinch the top wild card spot, and they have not made it move. I guess it was 5 and it moved 1 game. But it hasn't moved from 4 since. And the Padres are playing good baseball and the Cubs are not. So this is another bad one for the Cubs. Again, they need to wake up. They need to have better performances from their bullpen, from their starters, from their lineup more consistently. They're just kind of limping into the playoffs. And look, the Mets are a team that have been unraveling that had a sizable lead in the wild card. It's probably not as big of a collapse as what the Detroit Tigers are going through right now, but like, I don't care. I care about the Cubs. The Cubs are playing a team that is giving every opportunity they can to miss the playoffs this year in the Mets, and to have this level of a collapse, it was just terrible. It was all bad in this game from the bullpen. And again, like, I don't want to like say, like, I think Dansby Swanson deserves a lot of blame. It's one error. It's everything that happened after that. It's where I kind of disagree about like the earned runs versus just being runs in a game because of one error that allows a guy on base. Your bullpen's job is to come in situations that are tricky and to get out of it. That's their job. That's your only job on this team. And Thielbar is the only one that I'm not like, panicking about. But again, I asked this question is, who do you trust in the playoffs? Like, let's say Cade Horton's good to go. We'll talk about him in a couple minutes here. Let's say Cade Horton gives you six innings of baseball, in the first game of the wild card series against the Padres. The guys who are pitching 7, 8, 9, you feel pretty confident. But what if it's the fifth? He only gives you 4 innings in a playoff series, in a playoff game. Who's getting you to Keller and Thielbar and Kittredge at this point? I don't think it's Rogers. Rogers is not a guy that has brought anything of inspiring level of performance. Kittredge is leveled out. Like, Kittredge has been pretty good for the Cubs bullpen for the most part. It's still not been perfect, but it's been better than Rogers has been. You don't really trust Pomerantz at this point. I think it's been a little bit of fool's gold with him throughout the season. It's been a good story, but I don't feel great about him in a situation right now. There's just the level of trust that Craig Counsell should have in his bullpen right now is minimal. And this is a game where it really, really shows it. Sasquatch says, no way do I trust PCA to get a clutch hit. Like, I get it, but, he got the bunt down today. He had another hit in this game, but had some good defense in this one. Like, is that fair? Yes, but it's not the Cubs' biggest problem. Like, the lineup today, at least, was not the biggest problem. It's the bullpen. And the bullpen is brutal. See, O'Reilly says the bullpen is gas since late August. I think that's a fair way to view it because they've been asked to do a lot since the month of August. I mean, the starters have not really gone deep in a lot of games. It's not been one that, with the Cade Horton and Matthew Boyd stuff where you're limiting their pitching throughout the season, it can, be a detriment in a way to, look at, or to help your bullpen throughout the season. But there's just, it's just uninspiring is the best way to put it. Larry says here in the chat, it's going to be the starters who move to the bullpen in the playoffs that bridge the gap between Keller and Kittredge. Yeah, I mean, I guess Tyon, like, to come in for 2 innings, like, we'll see. I mean, for the wild card series, it works, but he doesn't become an option after, if you get past the wild card series, he's going to be in your rotation. Like, you trust Javier Assad, Colin Ray? Like, are those the guys is that the guys you trust in the bullpen either? I don't think they deserve to be, because we've never seen him really. Assad, we've seen that role, but and Ray, the early season results weren't that great. If you think back to the Diamondbacks series at the very beginning of the year. But yeah, it doesn't, inspire confidence, regardless, even if they're there to come in and help this bullpen. It doesn't, make me feel excited about the way that this bullpen can perform in the playoffs. All right, we'll take a break here. We'll talk about Cade Horton leaving the game early, and we'll go through, and really that's what we'll talk about the rest of the show. And plus, we'll get to your questions and comments as well here on YouTube. That's all coming up next here on the Locked On Cubs postcast. You've probably seen a million ads for hair growth products and thought, sure, like, that actually works. There are so many products out there, and it's hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. That's why you should give Nutrafol a closer look. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people, and it's not just hype. This is a supplement clinically tested that targets the root causes of thinning and shedding with the proactive approach. If you know someone that's losing their hair a little bit up top, recommend them Nutrafol here. Everyone needs it. That's why I got a hat on. So I got mine on my way. See thicker, stronger hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering Locked On MLB listeners $10 off your first month's subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code Locked On MLB. That's Nutrafol.com. Promo code LOCKEDONMLB.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
All right, so Ray says here in the chat, Joe, this is level of the 2003 Cubs. You're a kiddo when that happened at best. I mean, I was younger, but I do remember. Look, this is a team it's limping into the playoffs. Like, that's probably the nicest way I could put it. I think this is where you look at what you did at the deadline. I mean, you haven't got much contributions from those guys that you've added, whether it's in the bullpen or in the lineup. Like, they've really kind of been zeros for the most part. I mean, Carlos Santana came through today, a guy you picked up in the regular season. Nice 2 RBI double at the beginning of the game. That's a positive in this one. And again, you scored 7 runs. Now the Mets handed you a couple of them. And the guy that you can, trust the most comes through tonight. Like always, Nico Hoerner is always that dude. I mean, he is the only guy in this lineup that you can trust in a situation with runners in scoring position. Rob says Kittredge was a good addition. I do agree. I think Kittredge was a good addition. It wasn't great. James asks, is Palencia ready to come back? I think it sounds like he's gonna be back this week. So that can help. That can help things for the Cubs, right? It can help you. That gives you a 4th arm in the bullpen that maybe you trust. Like, it wasn't obviously great for Daniel Palencia. He's not going to be, I don't imagine him going back into that closer role when he returns to this team. I would be shocked, frankly, if that was the play that the Chicago Cubs decided to make. But at this point, let's wait and see what his role is going to be. All right, so Cade Horton, 29 pitches tonight is what it comes down to. Leaves the game after the 3rd inning. Was really concerned. I mean, it took over 45 minutes to get an update. Now, a lot of people at first were like, maybe this is just the Cubs' plan. But obviously the injury concern was real. And then we finally found out during the broadcast that he left the game due to lower back tightness. It was precautionary. They talked about on the broadcast how they saw after the 1st inning that he did put a heating pad on his back. So clearly that is something that was bothering him a little bit. So I guess the optimist in me is saying, okay, well, he still was pretty nasty, right? He was still really good tonight. Gives up the homer to Lindor, but he was still really good while he was out there. So that's the positive thing is, like, maybe if he was, if this was a playoff game, he could have pushed through. The concern is that, lower back tightness and a back anything is concerning because back injuries can linger and back tightness can linger. Now, he's out of his normal schedule, so maybe that had something to play with it. But it's wait and see what's next. And again, hopefully he's just doing this. They were really literally just being precautionary, and he'll be out there for game 1 of the wild card series, whether it's in Chicago or in San Diego. But it is just, that's terrifying, because when you do think about the Cubs' chances to go far in the playoffs this year, like if there is I know no one feels that way right now. If they're going to, Cade Horton's like, he's the dude that is going to help take you there. He's been the best pitcher by ERA in baseball since the All-Star break. He should be starting game 1 of the wild card series. That's 7 days from now. So he's got a week to rest up and get ready to go. So it's just kind of wait and see for him. And frankly, that to me is the only thing that we're going to be talking about after this game.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Yeah, it's just when is Cade Horton, like, what is his status? Is there a concern? Is there lingering concern about what will happen to him in the postseason? If there's tightness at all, like, can he push through? And then there's, I think the fair skepticism from Cubs fans of, are they being fully transparent? There's obviously this Kyle Tucker injury, but between Horton and Tucker, those are now the 2 biggest storylines for the Chicago Cubs. And they'll throw in Daniel Palencia with the 3 guys coming back from injury are the three biggest storylines, most important things for the Cubs right now is what's up with Cade Horton? Like how does the back work, or how does the back feel in his next start in the wild card round? Kyle Tucker, can he actually play before the postseason's here? Frankly, I don't think it really matters. Like if he's healthy enough to play, you put him out there against the Padres, even if that means he has to be the DH. Like that's what the plan should be. Suzuki can play right field. Tucker can be your DH. Even if that means he has to go station to station, you need his bat in the lineup. You need his bat to be what it started to look like before the calf strain started to become a problem for him. And then how does Daniel Palencia's role evolve in the playoffs? The other thing with Horton for me that I'm just wondering is, does this factor into like really like letting it fly in the postseason in terms of I'm assuming the Cubs are not going to be worrying about pitch count and things like that. I mean, like he hasn't pitched, up to like 90, 80, 90 to 100 pitches either anytime this year or very rarely this season. This is to me where my concern with this game is with Horton leaving early, even if he is fully healthy and good to go for the wild card. It's just, okay, he only throws a handful of pitches in this game. What do you see him doing in the postseason? How far can he go? Because again, the thing we learned today from the Cubs is you can't trust the bullpen if your starter only gives you a couple of innings in a game. All right. That will do it for us tonight here on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. Let's see any other comments we should get to. See, Aaron, a lot of sky is falling here. Don't blame you in the chat. Aaron says the season is finished. Mark says, hey, Joe, the season is over. Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you for feeling that way. It's a wait and see for me. But at this point, the question really is just for the Cubs is, are they going to be healthy? And are they going to win any games to be able to secure a spot in the top wild card spot and host the game at Wrigley Field? All right, that's going to do it for us then officially. You can find us here tomorrow on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. Matt and Sam will have their show coming up here a little bit later tonight. Obviously, you can check out their show 5 days a week right here on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. Remember, hit that subscribe button as well anywhere you find your podcast, Apple and Spotify. So that will do it for us. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow night. Hopefully a better result and hopefully not a sixth straight loss for the Chicago Cubs. Talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Peace.